For so work the honeybees, creatures who by ruling nature teach the act of order to a peopled kingdom. So says William Shakespeare. We know of him. We read his books while in secondary school or in the tertiary institution or both. He tells us that we can learn orderliness from the bees. What else are we taking from the bee kingdom? Honey. There's been an upsurge in the use of honey. In times past, we sweetened our beverages, our cereals, and sometimes our cuisine with sugar. Nowadays, more people are choosing to use honey. Many say because it's natural, and that's our focal point today, sugar versus honey. Welcome to Wellness and Living. My name is Thelma Obaza. We went out, we spoke with you, and as usual, we present your views.
I've tried both. They say honey is good, sugar is bad. But to me, when I use honey, I don't really get the taste I want. I don't know why. But once I use sugar, in fact, I feel comfortable. It's sweet in my mouth.
Sugar. Probably I prefer honey because honey is natural. It doesn't have any side effects.
I prefer sugar. I grew up taking sugar. I remember my mom used to say sugar builds up your brain, stuff like that. If you take it, you'll be very intelligent. So I prefer taking sugar. I was not brought up taking honey.
Preferably I would have used honey, but sugar is available and it's close to me.
For me, I use neither sugar nor honey. I just do my beverages the way it is.
I love the taste of sugar more than the taste of honey. Okay. And sugar, anytime I put sugar in my tea, I put it in any of my beverages I want to take, it gives me good taste than honey. Because honey, if I take honey, at times I feel like vomiting.
Okay, I tried both. Well, the sugar caused me a lot of problem in my system, like pile and other things. So, but honey, it's okay.
My father had diabetes, and when he got to the hospital, they told him it's because of the excess sugar in his system. So the doctor recommended honey for him, and since he's been using it, the rate of urinating has reduced. With honey, his life, his health is more better than when he was using sugar.
My dad, he doesn't like using sugar. He prefers using honey. Reason, last time that the period that he was using sugar, he had some issues with it. So the doctor advised he should be using honey instead of sugar. So since then, everybody adopts it in the family.
There is limitations when I'm taking sugar. Sometimes I even take a cup of the washed bitter leaf water. Nobody advised me, but I think you might have done something on sugar. I go on exercise and I go on things that make me sweat to know that, to reduce the sugar level. And at the same time, I can still go and test my sugar level.
Actually, I don't really know, but what I believe, mostly they say sugar do cause painful menstruation for women. But me, I don't even know about that. Because me, I do take it a little, I don't take much.
I'm already scared using sugar because I came to realize that there are a lot of side effects when you're taking sugar. So I'm working on cutting down the sugar intake. So
all natural things seem to be better than the artificials because the body needs the natural things than the artificial things.
Many years ago, this young woman, as a teenager back then, always kept her spot at a certain time of the day in front of the television set so she would not miss any bit of a culinary show on the NTA. And today, she has sharpened her skills such that she has become a renowned sugar artist in Nigeria. Many come to partake of the delicacies and the confectionaries that she prepares. She tells us more about sugar and honey.
Sugar artistry involves the use, as the name implies, of sugar, honey in a lot of our pastries and confectionaries, like a celebration cakes. It could be chocolate, strawberry, whatever the flavor, in our cookies, in our finger foods, in our sausage rolls, meat pies, and a lot of other confectionaries. The world is getting to a stage where people are more conscious of what goes into their mouth because they want to remain healthy for as long as they can. When you mention sugar and you mention honey, you're talking about something sweet. So sugar basically is required in the body. Of course, if you look at the way sugar is, there are different types. You have the white one, the brown one, and of course honey. People tend to move from sugar to honey. Honey is gotten from bees. It's more natural than sugar. Sugar has passed through some form of processes. Now, sugar is a key ingredient when you talk about cake making or other pastries. Your sugar helps to stabilize your cake. Your sugar can act as a leavener in your cake. Your sugar can improve the texture of your cake. So you discover that you really cannot do without sugar. You can cut down your sugar in your recipes by 1/3, but you have to do that professionally, because if you cut down on your sugar too much, you're not going to get the desired result for your cake. We have natural sugars that are in fruits, which we bakers tend to use these days because people want to live a healthier life. You could use sugar in form of fruit purees, apple puree, pineapple purees. You could even use other fruit like dates. You could use nuts, you could use leaves like your stevia to make do for your sugar. Honey, on the other hand, of course, has its own health benefits, which is why people substitute sugar with honey in their cakes. So each one has its recipe. A cake that you use sugar for and the one you use honey for has its own recipe. Basically, we use honey based on people's preferences. We use all those dates and fruit substitutes based on people's preferences. You find some clients who desire to have your cakes, but they don't want to take too much sugar. For such clients, we recommend honey, and they usually love it. So that brings us as bakers back to the drawing table to know for a certain number or cup of sugar, what is a cup of puree, fruit puree I need to substitute it with? What is a cup of dates I need to substitute it with? You go back to your drawing board and you discover, all that. Banana is a good fruit that pureed banana you can use to substitute for your sugar. You give your clients options that have to do with well-being, that have to do with wellness. Honey does not digest as fast as sugar. Honey also has a higher calorie compared to sugar. And also honey is not ideal for a child under 1 year because of the process, the enzymes involved. Supposing I have 10 people asking for cakes, maybe 7 would normally go for the regular sugar cakes. 3 would ask for honey cakes. Compared to in the past when people didn't know or people didn't ask or people didn't bother about that. My interests in confectionery developed as a teenager. I remember way back there was a program NTA used to run then on a culinary program. So each time it was about to come on, I would sit down with my notebook and my pen and I'll be copying ingredients, and thereafter I will go and practice. And of course there were willing people around me, my family, friends, willing to taste. And that was how my interest grew. Now, after my interest grew, I grew up to look into that aspect of life, and it developed from a hobby to further become a profession, attending one course or the other in that field to improve upon myself. Confectionery is evolving, just like any other profession, and we also have to evolve with the times. Part of the evolving aspect of confectionery is that people are getting more conscious. They want to take confectionery at the same time remain healthy. That is a trend now. and you discover that for a major ingredient that we use, you have a lot of substitutes. Sugar has a substitute, you talk of honey, starting from basic ingredients that anybody could pick from a book and use, to you as a person going into your own kitchen to develop a healthy option. Since people want to remain healthy for as long as they can, we also, who use sugar and honey, have to help people and ensure that they remain healthy by being innovative. Pan has been greased and lined, and I'm pouring in my butter to my pan. It has been greased. Ready. My oven is heated. Ready. This goes my cake. Ready to be baked.
Many of us like quality. We also like quantity. It interests you to know that nowadays, some sugar artists are keen on our wellness too. That's why they ensure that when they are preparing our confectionaries, they take into consideration our state of health and how we can ensure that it stays top of the range all the time. Sholape Bamijoko, I tell you, a unique kind of person, I must say. As always, we like to listen to a medical professional to get their perspective on everything that we discuss here. Sugar versus honey. What is Dr. Rachel Edubo saying? Let's listen.
Sugar is on its own, it contains fructose and glucose. 50% fructose, 50% glucose, which is being broken down to which definitely causes glycemic index to be increased. This glycemic index has to do with the sugar level in the blood, which could lead to the popular diabetes. There's honey and there's sweeteners. We can't just say honey, take honey, honey is safe. I'm not of the opinion that I would choose honey over sugar. No. Honey also contains fructose and glucose. Honey, but it's just like it's a little bit lower than sugar. Honey's fructose has like 40%, 30% fructose and 20% glucose in honey. So, but the only reason why I feel people go for honey is this medical benefits. That's why people go for honey, because there is so much benefits. Like you can use it for cough suppressants. They can also use it for allergy relief. Then also for topical use like wound healing and seborrheic dermatitis, that's skin disease. You could use honey for. So I think that's why people should go for honey. Because if you say because you are a diabetic patient and you want to stay off sugar and go for honey, no. I will always tell them that just take everything in moderation, because the same fructose that is in honey is the same fructose that is in sugar. But the only good thing about honey is that there are other nutrients that it contains, like water, proline, and other minerals like magnesium and phosphorus. Maybe that is why it's a little bit better than sugar, because it could still cause diabetes too. So they say honey is natural, but the process it passes, how natural it is. We get honey from bee wax, but how natural, because it has to go through some processes. But how natural is this honey? I actually saw an honey that's after taking the honey, I actually poured in a cup and left for like few minutes, turning it, I saw a bunch of sugars under. So definitely, there's not like fake, there's not like real, because we are Africans, we want to make profits. So it's, except you're getting it straight from the bee, then you tell me it's natural. So because it has passed through some processes, it is no more natural. There's a fruit of thought that even this sweetness causes memory loss because it contains aspartame. So what are we running for? We're running away from sugar, not to get diabetes. We're running away from honey because it could still cause diabetes. Now sweetness, we're talking about memory loss. In a nutshell, we need sugar in our body as humans because it's this sugar that gives us energy. So running away from sugar or running away from honey or adding sweetness We are aiming at one goal. We need energy. And this energy has to come with the sweetness, the sugar. The sweetness it's out of it. Should just be out of it because it's not natural. You staying away from sugar and staying away from honey and just being natural, definitely you are going to run into hypoglycemic state. That's low sugar in your body, which is another state you don't just want to go into. Medically, it's advised to take sugar, especially kids. Most parents tend to say that giving your kids sugar in excess will cause them obesity. No, these kids are growing children. They are still growing, so we need them to give them sugar for them to grow. We need sugar for energy, and without energy, our brain will not function properly. Everything should be in moderation. Little sugar in your tea, little sugar in your cereal, little honey in your tea, and little honey in your cereal. So everything should be in moderation, just to balance up our body system.
You've enjoyed the confectionaries, I know, whether you prefer sugar or you like it with honey. You've also listened and we hope learned something from the medical professional. Well, wouldn't it be right to unwind at this time? We're going to be doing it in a very unusual way today. Have you heard of Gitchen? This man was born in 1868. He passed on, yes, in 1957. But here are his very words, that the ultimate aim of karate is not for victory or for defeat. It is for the perfection of the character of every participant. Perhaps that's why more than ever before, young people are getting involved in karate. We spent some time with them. Wow.
I'm seeing little kids, young children participating actively. What they're doing now, they call it kihons. It also means in English the basics. They are getting started in their karate journey. And we have some that are wearing the white belt, the green belt, and the blue belt. Isn't that just totally exciting?
going to do this. Everybody turn your back to each other. Back to back. We're going to do some fun exercise. Back to back. Turn your back to your partner's back. Good. So now everybody on this side, pick them up! Hey! Hey! And those people going on, go for it. Stand! She! Go! Go!
This is the last warm-up for this particular aspect of the exercise, and you are required to carry your partner, lift up your partner. This is a proper exercise for the spinal cord.
How do you sweeten your cereals? With sugar or with honey? What about your beverages? What about your cuisine? What about your confectionaries? Are we taking something away today? What I think is key is that whichever option you decide to use at the end of the day is that moderation is key. It has been a wonderful experience sharing all we have learned with you. What do we do every week? We pick interesting topics. We bring wellness experts who can give us their best informed and well-researched opinions. So together we can continue to promote our wellness and impact all those around us to be more productive. Thank you for keeping our company on Wellness and Living. My name is Thelma Obaze. Yes, the bees teach us orderliness. They also bring for us honey. Honey versus sugar. I'll leave that for you to decide. We'd love to see you again next week. For now, it's bye-bye.